Everybody, thank you so much for your patience.
Madam Chair, you are all set and ready to go.
Thank you very much. I would thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Human and Community Services Committee for September 16th, 2024. My name is Deb Poland. I'm the chair of this committee and want to welcome all of you. We have committee member, Town Councilor Barry Walters. We also have Town Council members Carol Anderson Blanks and Tiffany McGinnis with us. Town Manager Rick Ledwith. Library Director Laura Ermshire, Leisure Services Director Helen Rubino Turco. We have Liz Bazinski, Gretchen Levitz, and Gabriella Downey. Is there anybody else? And we have Jerida, our assistant, on as well. So we will move to business items, and Councilor Walters, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the June 17th committee meeting.
I'm sorry. I move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. I'll second the motion. With no objection, the minutes are approved. Move to communications. Are there any communications, Mr. Town Manager?
Not this evening, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
If we're okay with the committee, we would propose moving the Human and Leisure Services Leisure and Social Services report up in front of the library report. It was okay with you. We do have a couple of special guests with us this evening. As you introduced, Gretchen Levitz, who's our prevention coordinator. She will be providing an overview on a number of prevention activities that we have planned over the next several months. And I believe we also have some student representatives from our teen task force on watching the meeting as well. And through you, Madam Chair, I will turn things over to Helen Rubino Turco, who can introduce the team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Town Manager. I'm delighted to include this evening, and I appreciate the time given, to hear from Gretchen Levitz, who is, as you may remember, is the prevention coordinator. This is a grant-funded position. She's also joined by Carl Shields, who is the chair of our West Hartford Prevention Council. I just wanted to remind you that several years ago, the West Hartford Prevention Council undertook a community wellness assessment, and this was largely driven by Carl Shields and his attention to this important activity. And out of this process, we really identified some needs. And one of those needs we were able to fulfill with this grant-funded position of prevention coordinator. What we discovered during the wellness assessment was not that we didn't have activities or providers of services, but there was a lack of communication between the service providers, but also the community not knowing what was available. And so this prevention coordinator position, which Gretchen has taken the bait and has run with it, has really filled a void in our community, and we're really grateful for her extra attention. And she also has with her Gabriella Downey, and she'll introduce Gabriella as well as students that have been working on some projects with her. Liz Bazinski, also our Assistant Director of Social Services, is with us, and she can really provide an overview as well of some of the activities. But the three main points that we'll be discussing this evening is the recovery-friendly community, the West Hartford Youth Leadership Academy, and also the peer health awareness concerns, this teen task force that Gretchen's been working with. So Liz, did you want to touch base, provide an update on the recovery-friendly community and then introduce Gretchen?
Thank you. I am going to let Gretchen, Carl, and the students take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, can you hear me?
We got you.
So first, I would like to thank you all for making this position happen, even that we're funded. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our West Hartford Leadership Academy. On September 20th, this Friday, at Town Hall, we, back in the summer, I was asked to kind of develop a statewide training for youth, which would be piloted in West Hartford and replicated statewide. It's largely funded by DCF and DMIS, and the goal is to train a cadre of students who will be well-versed in a variety of prevention and health-based topics and trained to use those skills with their peers in a variety of settings. The training will also be featured at a poster session at the Prevention Summit at the Delamar on October 17th. Students will be trained as student wellness navigators by NAMI. They'll receive training by the West Hartford Police Department on social media and how it impacts youth. And we will hear from the Jordan Porco Foundation, the Wheeler Clinic. We have a PowerPoint. I'm not sure if Gabby was able to put that up, but and Rise Up for the Arts. And we will have a training from the health district on Narcan and signs of overdose. Whoops, if we can go to the, all over the place, Gab. Okay, so there's our agenda for the day. It's jam-packed, and it starts at 7:45 a.m. and it goes right until 3 o'clock with very little time in between, because we have so much we want to accomplish at this training. When the students arrive, they'll be welcomed by town dignitaries as well as the DCF commissioner, who will be present for the entire training, is my understanding. NAMI will do a student navigator training, and then we will then have speakers who are in recovery speak to the students so they can have some information firsthand. And then we have, and we're going to go into more depth, but the fact, there is a fact campaign developed by students for students, which is a Narcan project, and the health district is partnering with them to present this training. We are going to have, Gabby, if you move to the next one, maybe. So we have a really exciting addition to this training. It's all hands-on, and we wanted to, make room at the table. And lots of times there isn't room for people that don't kind of fit in the mold. And so with this ABLE table, we're really excited. It's created by Rise Up for the Arts, and our students will actually brainstorm and create the design work for an ABLE table. And during the second week of October, it will be placed in a very prominent location in Blueback Square. So we're super excited about that. We've had really positive feedback. So we're super excited about that. And then at the end of the training, each student will walk away having signed up for an additional, at least one additional campaign or project, because we have so many, and you'll be receiving a more detailed document that it tells you more about every project that we're working on, because I just don't stop. And it's because the students are so motivated and they want to do so much, and we want to hit all levels of our community. So to that end, I want to tell you about FACT, because, Gabby, there we go. FACT is a creative prevention and health-based marketing campaigns, basically designed by teens for teens. The reality is as simple as this. If you ask teenagers who they get their information from, it's either the media or their friends for the most part. And who do they go to for advice? They go to their peers. So by arming their peers with knowledge and the tools to give them the correct information, we can kind of really change the way information is disseminated. So I created this program about 15 years ago in Hartford, and it was very successful. But we have taken it to new levels in West Hartford. truly. It reinforces the power of peer education and harnesses the creativity that teens actually have and want to explore. How it works: the teens determine a topic that impacts their peers. So, for example, if there are 20 students who we're meeting with, they may all have different ideas as to what topics they want to explore. And those topics are often different than the ones that we think the teens should explore. Sometimes what adults think is important is different than what's really happening with teenagers and youth. So it's super important for us to listen to what the youth is saying. And what they do is they determine the topic that impacts their peers, and they have to research the topic and identify a local and national expert that can help them on these projects. Then they create a marketing campaign designed to educate their peers and oftentimes educate the community, which was demonstrated very well at Celebrate West Hartford. We had all 6 FACT campaigns on display. We had over 3,000 people visiting our booth and getting information. And then they have to present the topic in at least one setting. And along with that, we give them the funds and the tools to be able to design and purchase merchandise that they can hand out that has information that will give them the correct information. So to that end, we've had several campaigns. Gabby, one of them has been very successful. It's called You Narcan Save Lives. And this was developed by 3 Hall High students who are here with us today. And we're determined to join us so that they could explain on their end. We have Madeline Valentine, Sarah Grandquist, and Julie Levy. Can we bring them into this, Gabby? Hopefully.
Hi, can you hear us?
We can.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm going to talk a little bit about where the inspiration for this project came, at least for me. So for the last year, I volunteered as an EMT in Bloomfield, and through this, I learned a lot about addiction and overdoses in our community and how overdoses have taken the lives of kids in the greater Hartford area. And from these experiences, I really saw that this was an issue impacting our age group. And I was motivated to do something to address this issue by specifically targeting and educating teens in our local communities. And together, Julie, Maddie, and I came up with the idea of hosting a series of Narcan training events in which teens would receive training in how to recognize and respond to opioid overdoses. And they would additionally receive naloxone so that if they were to come across an opioid overdose, they could take action and help someone.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Julie. So yeah, like Sarah said, we wanted to create something that would really spread awareness towards opioid overdoses and how to respond to them. And while we think a lot of progress has been made in decreasing stigma around mental health and other issues that teens are facing a lot these days, opioid overdose is an issue that can be very dangerous, yet we feel like not enough attention is being brought to it.
Hi, I'm Madeline. So our FACT campaign, You Know Can Save Lives, designed a training with a focus on teens of how to react to possible opioid overdoses in the instance that they do come across them. And our training equipped teens with the ability to spot those signs of an overdose and additionally how to distribute Narcan safely and how to feel confident when doing it. We held one training that was very successful, and we plan on holding another this Friday and hope to hold more in the future. Additionally, we also created an easy to understand poster for teens to hold or carry around in their wallets so that they can feel confident when distributing Narcan, and just something to quickly read over if they ever are in the instance when they do need to distribute the Narcan.
Thank you, ladies. They've really picked a topic that not too many have. So I think according to every meeting I've attended, West Hartford is at the leading. We're leading the cause here, and other towns are looking to us as well. and looking to our teens, which is very exciting. We have several FACT campaigns, all with very important messages, not just Narcan. That's just one of our campaigns. We have 6, and we will be adding more, including social media, suicide prevention. And I have to tell you how inspiring it is to work with teenagers who actually want to do something positive for their community. They're not just saying they want to, they're doing it. They're here right now in town hall. They're here. They come to meetings. They keep me going. So I think that's something super important to keep in mind.
Can
Gabby,
I
is
just
there
ask
one
a
more?
quick question?
Sure.
As long as we have the students with us, thank you so much for the work that you're doing and helping to teach your peers and become leaders on your own rights. I'm just wondering if you can tell us a little bit about the training that you did and whether that was in person or whether it was on Zoom and whether it was just hall students or across the district and how many
Yeah,
students
so
participated.
So about 25 students participated. It was in person at one of the West Hartford libraries, and it was super successful. A lot of the people who attended are interested in going into healthcare careers, and they said that it was very informative, both on how to administer Narcan and recognize signs of an opioid overdose, but also with understanding like the chemistry of how it works. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and this was for students across town. This wasn't just Hall students. We had KO students, Conard students, and Hall students attend. And I think originally this was supposed to just be a training at Hall, but we ran into some issues with just like some red tape rules and holding this training at the school. And we ultimately decided to do it at the library, which allowed us to have students from all over town, which was really helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
And we're really excited to be able to, there'll be 45 students at the training on Friday, so 45 more students will be trained in that as well. And now, question. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Barry, you have to unmute.
Oh. All right, we'll try that again. We'll hit the mute button until it works. This is all great stuff. Thank you so much for the presentation. I have a question regarding LGBTQ inclusive messaging. Is that something that's part of this program, this training? Yeah, I wanted to throw that out there.
This particular training will focus on, will be very inclusive, and it includes information presented by NAMI, and will please take the presentation down. Okay. Gabby? And we will have further specific trainings to come, as well as FACT campaigns. It's wide open from elementary school to high school. So if a GSA wants to get involved, absolutely. And I have a feeling, I don't want to commit, but I do know that it is in the works right now with one of the schools. But absolutely. Did you want to say anything to that?
No, just I wanted to say that many of the things being rolled out are evidence-based practices, and that required by DMIS to look at them through the prism of culture. So we will include LGBTQ.
Great. That's great. Thank you so much. There's so many things that obviously are shared, but there's a few things that I won't say are unique, but are more prevalent LGBTQ kids. So that's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And then on to our last bit on the recovery-friendly community. So in an effort to reduce and eliminate the stigma associated with recovery related to mental health and substance misuse, and to support residents in recovery, West Hartford will soon be designated as a recovery-friendly community. And to that, we are very proud of that. The town of West Hartford has many, many resources, and we seek to raise awareness of the nature of I think you need to take that down, Gab. To raise awareness of the nature of substance misuse and mental health disorders, and to provide our community members with access to multiple resources that currently exist in town. And we will expand what works and find out what else is needed. The launch is scheduled for October 2024, which is right around the corner. And I have with me Carl Shields, the chair of the West Hartford Prevention Council, who will speak briefly on this process.
Hello, all. We started on this process a couple of years ago. Helen and I brought it up, and it's a designation by the commissioner's office at DEMAS. And typically it involves substance use. I think we're way ahead of the curve because our initiatives include mental health as well as substance use.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably where DEMAS is going to arrive in a decade, once they catch up with themselves. But we know that co-occurring disorders are the most prevalent. So there are 7 towns in West Hartford that are designated. So we'll be a very small group.
Connecticut.
In Connecticut,
Yeah.
sorry. And there are several issues. We want to raise the level of awareness for such conditions, mental health and substance use, promote health and recovery by reducing stigma and discrimination. Some of the benefits that have been identified for this: reduced substance misuse, reduced overdoses, reduced crime, greater sense of community, social inclusion and connection, improved overall community health, and increased access to resources and positive statewide visibility. There are some major categories that we've worked on over the last couple of years, so I'll just identify them and say very briefly, without going into the details of which organization. One is municipal leadership, and that's getting the agreement with the mayor, the town council, and the powers that be within the town that this is something they want to have happen. The appointment of a recovery champion empowered to lead the townwide efforts needed to become a recovery-friendly community by concerning multiple stakeholders. Gretchen and I both are recovery champions. We decided to split it up because there was so much to be done.
It's a title. It's
Yeah. Commissioner's office, you got to have it. The presence of a prevention council is required. We certainly have that. A town website to reflect being a recovery-friendly community. The other second major category is municipal department buy-in. The Leisure Services Department offers multiple activities and venues, which they do. The schools offer fairly intensive protocols for educating students and parents on the significance of good mental health and prevention of misuse of drugs and alcohol. The development of multiple recovery groups and opportunities, and development of peer support groups. All those things are well underway and in process. Some are a little stickier than others, but they're all underway. Police and fire departments are aware of mental health and substance use prevention and treatment resources and use them in their jobs. The town welcomes recovery-friendly housing, and there are community centers for children and adults. The third major category is community attitudes. Number 1, businesses are open to hiring people in recovery and advertise as such to reduce the shame associated with that. Community organizations are open to give volunteer status to people in recovery, and the community supports previously incarcerated individuals. The third area, community resources. And these are some of the goals. Residents know how to access and use Narcan. Hospital ERs have access to recovery resources, including recovery support specialists. Faith-based organizations are promoted as recovery-friendly settings. Residents know how to access peer support, mutual aid groups, and how to get in touch with somebody, who to call for that. Local transportation is available to help people in recovery get to meetings. Residents know how to access services and resources, including the recovery coach who's been hired. Residents know how to access telephone recovery support, a service of CCAR. Physicians who prescribe for substance misuse disorders are identified and available. Family support groups and education is available. Resources related to grief and loss are known and promoted, and food, clothing, and other basic supports are readily available. Those are the elements of a recovery-friendly community. We're in a very good place with that. We've reviewed the grid to assess the town multiple times and put a lot of effort into the areas that we're lacking.
It's available on our website too.
Yep.
And does anybody have any questions or comments?
Any questions from the committee member or other town councilors on the call? I just want to thank all of you who are involved in this, and I think you're demonstrating the level of commitment that that makes us a leader in this area as well as so many other areas. And just thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we'll look forward to hearing more about the training on Friday as well. Helen, are we back over to you?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to again thank Gretchen Levitz and Carl Shields and the students for attending. I still want to give a shout out to Carl because many of these activities really started with his leadership several years ago at the Prevention Commission. And I'm just really grateful for his support over the years and also his real devotion to this in our community. Just thank you to Carl for that. Regarding other comments from our social services department, we reassessed how we are engaging with our community with some of our programs that we operate through the Department of Social Services. So for example, this year, rather than distributing gift cards through our Community Partnerships Division, we engaged with the schools directly. And we distributed about a little over $20,000 worth of gift cards to 16 public schools, as well as to the concerned parents of color. And this is a new process for us, but it really was also an opportunity for us to rethink how we are engaging with the community. And it gave our school districts an opportunity to engage with families that they didn't have this opportunity before. So it's really just another way for to enhance family engagement with the schools. And we also felt this was much more equitable and easier for families because they're already going to the schools. And so it just made for a much better, a much smoother process. We're also conducting, about to launch in the process of launching our 5-year consolidated plan for our community development block grant funding. So this is a process that obviously takes place every 5 years. We're in the final year of our current plan. And with the help of a consulting company called SLR, we are engaging in some outreach, some assessments of what we're doing now, what we could do better. And we're also looking to educate the community about this funding that we receive annually. It's a little less than $1 million at this point. We want our community to understand that this funding is available to the town. We want to make sure that we listen to them in terms of what their priorities are for with the needs that they see in our community. But we also want to educate our community about what's eligible use of this funds and what's not eligible. And there's oftentimes some misunderstanding or misinformation about what is eligible. And so we want to spend some time talking to community groups as well as individuals. So we've set up some dates, including a possible, perhaps at our next Human and Community Services meeting, to have our Community Development Block Grant team speak about the con plan process so that you can also become better educated about what we're doing in our community. We've also set up meetings on October 23rd at Elma Community Center in the evening from 4:30 to 6:30. And then a few weeks later on November 13th, we're going to have 2 themed workshops held during the day here at Town Hall. And that will be so that we can capture some of the community groups that we work with and some of our community partners as well as staff. So we're excited about launching this process, and we would love to have this be a topic perhaps a little bit more in depth at a later meeting in October. That concludes my report for social services. In leisure services, I did want to quickly let you know that our splash pads remain open. We're going to keep them open through the rest of this week. I love the fact that our staff can assess the situation and say, the weather looks great, it's still warm, the weather's beautiful. We're going to keep this open for our community. So they will remain open until Monday morning next week. So that's a nice perk to have. Our community center, our new community center, again, we're beginning the process with GWWO Architecture. We had a kickoff meeting with them. We're going to be meeting with them again soon as a small core staff group, but we also expect that they will be rolling out dates for community outreach where they will listen to and reconfirm with various stakeholder groups about what was collected, the information that was collected during the feasibility study that was done 2 years ago. So hopefully we'll be able to announce those meetings soon. In the very short term, they did request a tree specimen survey of the Mayflower property, and we were able to quickly get volunteers from our tree action group to go and do a thorough assessment, which they really appreciated. Still in that vein of sustainability, I did want to just touch on a very positive project that was coordinated at the Walcott Children's Forest entrance. Separately, you received a quick report on the work that was done with volunteers from the Garden Club, Sustainable West Hartford Commission, as well as town staff. This was a really wonderful project, and we continue to work on other projects with the same kind of group of people. One is a pollinator hillside, a meadow hillside at the Walcott, near Walcott School, but it's in the park just below the community gardens. So that's an exciting project. We're also happy to announce that we're getting ready to launch our tree canopy study and tree inventory. We've selected Planet Geo as the company that is going to do this 2-part, right? So there's the canopy study, which is sort of a top-down. It's using computer imaging where we get to really analyze the tree coverage in town. And then the tree inventory is sort of the boots on the ground, the bottom up. And that is really where we are actually walking around and looking at trees and capturing different species so that we can have an idea of not just our inventory, but our diversity. And of course, both of these activities, the tree canopy study and the tree inventory, will help us determine where we need to focus our attention in tree planting. And the tree action group is taking the lead on this, and we're really excited. I'm again excited to be working with them. And I did want to just touch on our senior centers. This, as you may recall, this year is the first year where we're not collecting a membership fee. And instead, everyone who registers to be a member. There's no fee for it, but it does provide them with perks in terms of registration for activities. And so far, we've seen an almost 8% jump in our membership. And we're still working on that, but so far we're already quite a bit higher than we were last year. And we are going to encourage our members to register through RecDesk. Sometimes this can be a challenge for our older residents, but many of them know how to order things online and from a catalog or through Amazon. And so we are going to be offering some free RecDesk training this winter to encourage our senior residents to use this online registration program. I'm happy also to announce that our bus service has returned. We have a new 16-passenger vehicle. We're in the process of hiring drivers, and we do plan to have an inaugural trip on Monday, October 7th. So we're excited about that. We'll certainly inform you, Madam Chair, because we'd love to have you or members of our town council join us for a ribbon cutting on that day. Finally, we do have some capital improvements that we're working on. The Walcott restroom has been demolished and is being worked on. I believe that it is expected to be completed by the end of November. We also are working on the Eisenhower Pool and Bathhouse project. As you may recall, this is a two-part project where they did the bathhouse over last winter and they're doing the pool over this winter. So we are in the process of getting that underway as well. And the rock ledge, unfortunately, we have had some unexpected delays due to a soil report that we got, but we are exploring options about some footings to support the building, given the soil report that we got. So we do expect some movement there in the next 10 days. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Councillor Walters?
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Helen, for that report. What exactly is the issue with the soil at Rockledge?
Sure. So in order to put a building on the soil there, we conducted a soil test. They did borings where they went down 20 feet. And so that whole area actually is fill. It was brought over in the early 70s from the Public Works area where they were doing some renovation, and they brought fill over and just put grass on top of it. And it really hadn't been addressed for a while. And we were aware that there was some issues when we, so as you recall, we went through some zoning hurdles in February, March, and April. So we did then turn our attention to the retaining wall that is just in front of the driving range. And while we were working on that, we really determined that we needed to do these soil testing. So that actually happened over the summer, but it's about 20 feet of fill. So you can't just put a building on fill, you have to put it on something that can really support it. And the fill is unstable for the building that we anticipate. And so there are a couple of ways that we can create what they call it's ground improvements. And so there's a couple of options. One is, but they both involve creating some piers within that soil, and then we can put the building on top of it. So that's what we're exploring at this point.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've every time I go by there, I keep hoping to see a structure and but thank you for that update.
Thank you. We're all frustrated.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. And I don't have any questions either. Thank you very much for the report. We will now jump over to library, and so I'll turn it over to you, Laura.
Good evening. Thank you. I would like to share some updates about what's been going on at the library, starting with a really terrific summer that we had. We had our second annual Bookworm Fest in mid-July. There were over 1,200 attendees that enjoyed a full day of fantasy and adventure. The library was overflowing with activity. We had programs and games and all kinds of things for all ages, and we are excited to be establishing this as our signature fun event of the summer. We also had Facts and Fun at the Facts and Branch Library. This is 4 weeks of enriching and entertaining activities for school-age children. We have two 2-week sessions for 1st through 3rd grade, the first part, and then 4th through 6th grade, the second part. And combined, we had over 50 participants. We also, in addition, we had team assistants and volunteers. They helped to support the program and also learn valuable mentoring skills. All of our participants enjoyed programs full of art, animation, animals, and dance. And there was also a lot of focus on engagement and, of course, fun. Facts and Fun is made possible by a grant from the Stanley D. and Hinda N. Fisher Fund at the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, and we are very grateful for their continued support. Towards the end of July, we had the second Book It Fun Run. This is our second year hosting the Fun Run, sponsored by the West Hartford Library Foundation. It features races for children of all ages, along with a bounce house to keep everybody entertained in between the races. This year, we had about 200 people attending, either participating in one of the runs or cheering their family and friends on at Sterling Field. And we're very grateful for the assistance from the CERT team and our town colleagues in the fire department and facilities who were on hand to assist with the event. And we just wrapped up a really successful summer reading program for all ages. Our adult summer reading challenge had 161 participants who read 1,450 books and completed 63 activities. And for the second year in a row that our participation has climbed, we're up 9% over last year. And for our children's and teens, we also had great participation. We had about 350 children's and teens participating, and we know more than that did, but because we partner with the schools, they're allowed to bring their reading logs back to the schools. So we don't have all the statistics on those, but we're always excited to see the kids in over the summer and everybody reading and having a good time. And now looking forward, I'm very excited to share that this year's author for our West Hartford Reads program is Jacqueline Woodson. She's written more than 24 award-winning books for adults, children, and adolescents, including the bestsellers Another Brooklyn, Red at the Bone, and Brown Girl Dreaming. She'll join us on Thursday, October 17th at Sedgwick Middle School. This will be a free author talk and book signing. And starting tomorrow, we're giving tickets away on a first come, first serve basis. We have tickets at all 3 of our libraries. So all you have to do is stop in and you can reserve up to 4 seats. So we hope to see everybody there. We're also hosting book discussions with Riverbend Bookshop for both adults and children in September and October to get everybody ready for the big event. A few more notes on some of our upcoming programs. Tomorrow, we're going to have voter information with the League of Women Voters. They're going to be in all our locations from 1 to 6 p.m. and they will just be answering questions, helping to provide people with forms for voter registration. So if you have any voting questions, come into the library and they will help you out. On September 24th, we have a program called Defend Your Identity, Essential Strategies Against the Rise of Identity Theft. This is here at the Noah Webster Library. It's at 6:30 at night in our meeting room. Our West Hartford Immigrant Teens Group is, they took a break over the summer and they're launching in now in the fall. They're meeting at the Faxon Library on September 25th at 4:30. And we've gotten a lot of new kids coming in for this year. So we're excited to see all the new faces and have them join the group. And at Bishop's Corner, we have family story time every 2 weeks on September 19th, October 10th, and October 17th. This program's at 10:15 in the morning, and there's no registration for this. We do have a lot of our children's program where registration is required because we have to cap the attendance. So this is one of the programs we offer where you don't have to plan ahead. You can just drop in if you have a minute. We always have great attendance, and Bailey does a great job with that program. And next I wanted to turn to our strategic plan. So you heard me talk a lot about the planning of the plan. So now I'm here to actually tell you about some of the things we've done. So this is kind of a recap from the spring and summer. Some of the things, there's a lot more that are in the works, but these are things that we were able to accomplish and some kind of quick wins to show people that we heard them and we have some ideas for how we can improve the library. So first up, under our initiative to expand access to library resources, we've implemented wireless printing in all of our library locations. So this allows people, if they need to print something, they can just do it straight from their device, their phone, computer, whatever they have. They don't have to log into a library computer, remember their email password, pull everything up. It was a clunky process. So now you can just come in with whatever you need and get it printed right away. We've also, in our goal for expanding library services in language other than English, we've rolled out our instant language assistants. These are devices that we have at all of our reference locations, and they're 2 tablets. And so if you speak a language different from the person at the service desk, the device will translate it for you. So this has really enabled us to broaden our services. If someone comes in and, for example, if I'm at the desk and they speak Spanish and I don't speak that, we can pull up the device. They can choose their native country so that the dialect is tailored to what they're saying, and then the device will translate it, and then I'm able to help them with whatever they came in. So this is something that we've been training our staff on. We have been able to use it to help people find information about how to access some government assistance, how to get ID cards, and just generally communicate about services in West Hartford. So I think this is something that's really gonna expand in the ways that we can serve our patrons. Under our second initiative for increasing awareness of library services, we heard a lot through our planning process about people asking for things that we already have. So we're trying to think about how we can get the word out that we do the thing you want. You maybe just didn't know about it. And one of the most common things we hear about is parking. People don't know that you can park in Isham Garage and get your parking validated while you're at the library. So we've been working on letting people know that in our newsletter, in our program announcement, and making that information more easily accessible on our website, and reminding people when they come in to visit that as long as they're in the library, they get their parking validated. So everything is free with us, even parking. And then we are also expanding our outreach efforts to draw in new patrons. September is library card sign-up month. So we are welcoming everyone to get a library card or to renew your card if you already have one. And we've launched a new campaign called Your Card Is, and it outlines all the different ways that your library card can enhance your life. It highlights everything from finding books and resources to events, movies, classes, internet and technology access, community gathering, crafting, games, and so much more. So we're hoping to spread the word and get everybody to come sign up for our card. Our third initiative is all about supporting our staff and how having better supported and well-trained staff can then lead to serving the community better. So one of the things we're working on is standardizing our guidelines in scheduling software. This is kind of a behind the curtain thing, but we have the software for how we schedule staff, and all of our departments use it slightly differently because they do different things. But as we're looking at some other initiatives, like if we're able to expand library hours or how we can do other things with our staff time, we need to see how people are spending their time, whether they're on desk serving the public or they're maybe off desk planning a program. So we've created guidelines for all of our staff to use the software the same way. So we can then do some analysis on where there is more time for some staff or staff may be overstretched. So we can then take on these new initiatives without overtaxing ourselves and deliver on the things that we're trying to do. Our fourth initiative is building more responsive and inclusive collections and programs. For our world language collections, we've added a section to our purchase suggestions where you can actually request the language that you want the material in. And we're using this to track requests. This is a collection development tool for us to see what people are looking for so we can enhance the collection in those languages and let people know that we're here to serve them in the way that they want to use our collections. And we're expanding some of our in-person and virtual programming. We heard some very specific suggestions for what they want to see, and then just some more general things. So we heard that people want things that can that focus on more movement and interaction. So we're going to have some yoga classes next month. And we also were able to purchase a meeting owl, which allows us to turn some of our in-person programs virtual or hybrid. This is great for some of our recurring groups where not everybody can make it, but it's the same group of people they don't want to miss out on the discussion. So we can have that hybrid option for them. And our last initiative, improving building experience, we have developed a plan and we'll be working with some vendors to upgrade our meeting room. We're going to be purchasing more furniture that's more comfortable, that is easier for our staff to set up, that optimizes the space and improves the appearance and experience in our meeting room, our most heavily used space in the library. And we're able to do this through funds we get through the state, through the Borrow It program, where we get reimbursed for books that people from other towns check out. So we have funds through that program to purchase some furniture. So that's what we've been up to so far. It's been a great first 3 quarters of our strategic plan first year, and excited to report on the accomplishments so far. And if you have any questions or would like any more information, I'd love to tell you more.
Thank you very much. Counselor Walters.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Very enlightening. Thank you for all that information. And I owe you an email. I know that. I had a question regarding getting the information out of just what the library offers, and, from the free parking to the services. How much has our public relations helped out with that? Because I know, if you're sending out to, in a newsletter and program, that's program announcements, that's sort of preaching to the choir, so to speak. But what other methods have we tried, whether it's public relations or, submitted articles to a local newspaper or something like that? What have we tried those particular things?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, thank you for the question. It's Renee is great to work with. So whenever we have big events or interesting things that she thinks are relevant for the town, she helps to amplify the message. If we have a newsletter, or we work with her on packaging the information so she can share it out. One of the things that's going to be in my next update, we are forming an outreach committee, and the purpose of the committee is focusing on where the library isn't and infiltrating everyone so that they can learn about the library. So I think we're really good at talking to the people who know us. And so the next step is getting to the people who maybe aren't as aware of what we do. So that is what I hope to have more information for you on later.
Okay, thank you. Infiltrate sounds a little sinister, so we'll find a different word for them. Spread the love.
There we go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we'll jump ahead. Future agenda items. So I think, Helen, you had mentioned you'll provide some information about our community development block grant and the process for that. And maybe we'll get an update on the community center at some point again, and a new update once there's something to say.
Exactly. I did have one other item for you, Madam Chair. I forgot to mention that this next Friday, not this coming one, but Friday the 27th is Feast on the Farm at Westmore Park. This is the 13th BYOB feast, farm to table dinner. Dorian Puka from the Doro Restaurant Group is again providing the 4-course meal. We also have Russell's Creative Cuisine providing hors d'oeuvres. And tickets are still available, but I just wanted to encourage anyone that might be listening or our fellow staff or town council members about this important event on Friday, September 27th, Feast on the Farm. And tickets are available through Rec Desk. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much. All right, if there are no other items to discuss, without objection, we will adjourn. It is 7 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.